All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. In today's episode, I never thought to myself that I would have to explain criticism to people in 2026, but here we are having to explain criticism to people in 2026 because no, a lot of people seem to think that criticism is a one-way street. They can give out criticism, but they just can't receive criticism. And then when they do, it starts making sense in their head. Then that's when they want to start doing things like insulting you or just, I don't know, maybe repeating themselves, but they just can't accept criticism themselves. And that's the thing that always trips me out, about criticism is that the person, the criticizer, they get upset when being criticized. Why is that? Why is it that they can give out criticism, but they just can't receive it? I'm confused by it. But no, overall though, criticism is a two-way street. That's going to be the title of this podcast episode because no, the thing is this, right? For as long as I've been a content creator and just paying attention to the YouTube scenes, let's just use YouTube as an example. And I will get into other platforms and stuff where I feel like that people will try to criticize you, but let's just use YouTube. I'm a little bit more familiar with YouTube. I've been on YouTube for 16 years now, and I can remember all the way back in the earlier days of me being on YouTube that criticism was non-existent. YouTube was more of a capture the moment platform. It wasn't the platform that it is today where it's like you're seeing short films, you're seeing, reaction videos. I mean, yeah, there was like music being uploaded back then, but YouTube was it was a different place back then. So, but anyways, you wasn't really going around criticizing people, or like, I guess like you wasn't really receiving a whole lot of criticism. Because I was thinking back on the videos that I uploaded back when I was getting into YouTube, and I'm over here uploading clips of me playing Madden NFL 07, one of the I think it was one of the SmackDown versus Raw games. What other stuff? Grand Theft Auto 4. I was just being a random kid on the internet and stuff. But that was the thing though, people wasn't going around criticizing my videos. Now I just wasn't introduced to criticism yet, but at the same time, I'm like, that's not really a video worth criticizing. My thing is this. I guess if it's something that I'm extremely curious, I think you more so look at what's being used as like, okay, can we criticize that versus the audience that's surrounding it? Like, so for an example, with Grand Theft Auto 4, I think more people would look for the criticism of Grand Theft Auto 4 than the people that support Grand Theft Auto 4. Because there's, a bunch of different videos being uploaded about Grand Theft Auto 4 during that time frame. So, but anyways, because yeah, Grand Theft Auto 5, it hadn't came out yet. That's how long I've been on the internet. So, but anyways, but yeah, I was like, YouTube was a different place back then. It wasn't until 2015 and I started doing reaction videos. And then that's when I kind of started. Well, even then still, it was just more so people hating, like they wasn't really criticizing your content. They was just hating. But there were some people that were criticizing what reaction videos were. And I think that was a lot of times they wasn't watching every single reaction video. They just watched the ones where they can build some criticism surrounding it or around it. And then, they wanted to have that criticism that, like their words, I guess, speak for all reaction videos. And that's the thing, like, you can't go about criticism that way. You can't criticize one thing and then have it where it's like, oh, this is all reaction videos. No, that's just that one particular reaction video that you watch. Now, if you go around criticizing every single one of the reaction video that exists, then I'm like, okay, then it's a different story and stuff, but at the same time, I feel that when it comes down to content creating, you look for content that you're a fan of. You don't go around watching content that you're not a fan of. Like, I guess, because I feel like that with Rotten Tomato, using that as an example. Now, yes, their whole thing is about criticizing movies. And that's why a lot of the times you see where it's like, okay, pick and choose what genre you are a fan of and criticize that. That's what you know more about. But when Rotten Tomato at times, they'll criticize some stuff and they don't know nothing about it and they'll give it a bad rating. Like, for an example, the movie Need for Speed. Now, I don't know if it was car enthusiasts that they hired in. Like, I don't know how Rotten Tomato, how it operates, but I can tell by when they reviewed the movie Need for Speed, I'm like, yeah, they wasn't a fan of that, I guess, of that genre and stuff. Now, maybe they are. I don't don't know, but overall, I'm like, I love that movie, you know? So I feel like that at the end of the day, that's what matters, is what the fans say. It's how they feel about it. So, and I feel like I kind of need to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So the reason why I'm even doing this podcast episode in the first place is because, so Anthony Fantano had reviewed, content creator, he reviewed the singer Halsey. It was an album she came out with a couple of years ago. Halsey recently had responded to it. Anthony Fantano said some things and then turns around and says that he's the most influential music critic of all time. Now, that's one of those things that's very debatable, because if you ask, I guess, I don't know, like, what would be the higher ups in the music criticizing universe and stuff? Because if they came out and said some stuff like that, then okay, if there was like a higher up, but I'm going based off of like, okay, what have I seen in the music critic, universe and stuff? Me being a fan, not so much of that genre of content creation and stuff, but more so, I guess, like, what is it that I'm trying to say? Overall, I didn't know who Anthony Fantano was, because I feel like I'm going to just get to repeat myself and things. Plus, on top of that, I did get a little distracted because there's this guy, I don't know why he feel like every time he needs to ride his bike up and down the streets. And it's like, fam, go home. Like, watch TV or something. Judge Judy, I don't care. But anyways, no, overall, though, it's like, when he made that comment, him saying he was the most influential music critic of all time, I'm thinking to myself, I've never heard of this guy. So I talked about that. People got mad. And then we started going back and forth. And then the word criticism got brought up. And I'm like, all right, you know what? Let me talk about criticism real quick, because I feel like some people need a little bit of an education lesson on it and things. So, but anyways, getting back to, I don't remember what I was saying because, again, I got distracted. And so I just don't understand. It seems like every time when I get to recording something, that's when that guy, like, and I don't have my window open, so it ain't like people know that I'm recording. But it just seems like every time when I get to recording, it don't matter what time of the day it is, this man just get to riding his bike up and down the street. I'm like, bro, run out of gas or something. I don't know. But anyways, but I guess, trying to improvise and come up with something new to say and things. But overall, though, it wasn't until, moving forward and stuff, it wasn't until 2016 when I really started dealing with quote unquote criticism. So there was a YouTuber that I got into it with, still getting into it with, more so his fans till this day. I think he's just been ducking and dodging me and scared to respond to any of the things I've been saying about him. But anyways, but no, I remember that's when my videos had started getting criticized back in 2016, my reaction videos. Now, he did a commentary video over my video, and it was just more so him talking about why he don't like reaction videos. You guys can go watch the video yourself, because it was a video I did called Defending Reactors, and then he did a commentary video over that video, I guess, trying to have a conversation with me. And that's the thing. I don't care having a conversation with you over stuff that I'm a fan of, and it's things that you don't like. You clearly don't like reaction videos if that's all that you talk about on your channel, and that's what he was doing at the time. He was doing a lot of different videos talking about why he didn't like reaction videos and certain people in the reaction community, because I think he did one on Rashad the Reactor, Tyrone Magnus, Jinx. Maybe he might have did one on Jinx's brother, CJ So Cool. I don't know. This was this was 10 years ago. And then he did a video on me. So I think it's safe to say that he don't like reaction videos. Now, my question is, I guess, to somebody that is wondering if reaction videos are worth watching, would you listen to somebody that's going to remain neutral on reaction videos, or somebody that doesn't like reaction videos? Because I would listen to somebody that's remaining neutral, where it's like they're not a fan of the content, but they've done some research on the content. They have an idea of what they want to say about the content, and they don't have nothing hateful to say, but they can understand why somebody might not like that type of content, because that might not just be their taste of content to watch. Now, there's been times where I've had to review and give out my criticism on stuff, whether it's been video games, music, or whatever and things. And there's at times where I talk because I don't like it. There's at times where I remain neutral. Then there's at times where I'm talking about something that I love. Like, so for an example, Lately I've been playing the Avatar video game. I'm starting to have a love towards that video game, but the company that made it, I would say that they're in the disliking territory. I done played quite a few of their games, and I'm, part of me is kind of skeptical of getting so far deep into this Avatar game, because Ubisoft is behind it. And I done played a lot of different Ubisoft games, more so their recent games, where I'm like, fam, there's a lot of issues and flaws and problems. excuse me, with your guys' video games. So that's the thing where I'm like, I guess, if it's stuff like that, but I'm like, okay, I'm a fan of the product though. When it comes down to talking about video games, I'm a fan of the product. So I'm going based off of the feelings I get when I'm playing games where I'm like, man, I love these games. And if I don't feel that feeling with Ubisoft and their games, I think it's safe to say that, yeah, at times. And then also on top of that, I guess to just really back up my arguments when it comes down to Ubisoft games, I'm also saying, repeating what other people have said about them, where it's something that I've also said. And I'm like, okay, the other people out there agree with the same things that I'm saying, so it ain't like I'm just saying this just to say it. No, I'm going based off of what other people said. Now, I can't remember if I talked on, I think I mentioned the Anthony Fantano comment, him saying that he's the most influential critic of all time. There's a lot of people disagreeing with him, and I just more so went based off of, okay, I never sat down and watched any of his videos. And it was funny because somebody was trying to say that I lied about that. And I'm like, what is there to lie about? Like, I don't understand why I would lie about something like that. But anyways, one person that I have to say that I do watch a lot when it comes down to criticizing music is I'm Dante. He's somebody that I'm a fan of. What's wrong with that? What I guess like my question would be is what would be wrong if I were to say that I'm Dante is the most influential music critic over, and here we go again with this guy on the bike. I'm like, dang man, it's like if he better go home. I'm like, you better do something. You either go somewhere or go home. But I'm like, dang, that riding up and down the streets, it's like, fam, go on about your business, please. But anyways, no, overall though, what would be wrong if I were to say that about I'm Dante, him saying that he's the most influential music critic of all time? Because this is somebody where I ain't seen memes come out about him. I ain't seen his videos get shared 10 times over. I've never seen that with Anthony Fantano. So why would it be wrong for me to disagree with his comment? Because at the end of the day, this is me giving him his criticism. I'm going based off of my knowledge of music critics. He ain't nowhere to be found, okay? So I don't know nothing about this man, but I'm not going to say that he don't have no input. He don't have the thing is this. He got more subscribers than me. He gets more views than me. He is a popular content creator. I'm not going to take that away from him. And I thought I had said that when I talked about him the first time. Maybe I didn't, but I'm saying it now. I'm not trying to take away this man's career, but at the same time, I feel like it is safe to say that he ain't the most influential music critic of all time. That's my criticism towards him. Now, why is it that you guys can hear that, not see? I guess you can hear it, but not hear it. It goes in one ear and out the other, but you hear it enough to form up whatever criticism that you need to form against me. And that's the thing where it's like, again, talking about I guess me being criticized, y'all don't know nothing about me. So at the end of the day, it's like all I just simply said was that this man's not the most influential music critic of all time. Now all of a sudden I'm getting criticism, and it's like based off of what? Based off of one comment that I made? That's the thing where I'm like, if you guys are going to do some criticism about stuff, at least do a little bit of research. So how I was mentioning Ubisoft, it wasn't like I played the tutorial mission of Ubisoft and say, oh no, their games suck now. I've played numerous video games of Ubisoft. And then even with the Need for Speed movie, arguing with, Rotten Tomatoes saying that it wasn't a good movie. I done seen a lot of different racing movies. All right. So it's the thing is this. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because I did say that, I can't remember what video it was, but I think it might have been the first video where I was all like, maybe if he worked on a little bit of music, then what he says can be a little bit valid, about, Halsey's music. Now, if you don't, I guess at the end, because I know people will try to argue with it and say, oh, well, he hadn't reviewed a lot of different other music before. Okay. And I'm like, what my thing is this though. Can you compare that to working on music? Yeah, you can listen to music. Anybody can listen to music. So you're just pretty much either a fan or a hater. But at the end of the day, it's like, when you work on music, you appreciate, because the thing is this, I can listen to a song that can be considered the worst song of all time, to some people. Okay, let's just say Rebecca Black's song Friday. Now I done made music, I've listened to music, I love music. Music is one of those things where I'm like, I gotta listen to music at least once a day. So I think it's safe to say that I love music, I appreciate music. Now people will probably ask me, bringing that song up, do I think that it's a good song? To me, probably not. But to somebody out there, it is. and I'm not going to take that away from them. That's the thing. At least with me, it's like with my criticism, I respect other people's criticism. Can you say the same thing about other people? No. Those that try to validate their criticism by putting down other people's criticism, no. They can't respect another person's criticism. And that's why you see a lot of times people want to get the arguing back and forth. And it's like, yeah, because you can't respect what another person says and just leave it at that. Now, somebody, let's just say, again, now bringing up Rotten Tomato. Yes, I have brought that up because I'm like, that's one of my favorite movies, Need for Speed. But at the same time, I'm not losing no sleep over it. I'm not going to get into a debate and argue back and forth with them over, I guess trying to convince them that Need for Speed is a bad. I know that it's a good movie. I know that it's a movie worth watching. So, but my thing is this though. If I criticize Rotten Tomato, because that is something that I have done where it's like, just seeing all the different times they review movies, and I'm like, you gave that movie a good rating, but you gave this movie a bad rating. Like, for an example, recently, they gave the Michael Jackson, the biopic movie, a bad rating, but they gave that documentary talking about his court situation a good rating. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think too many people, are going to care for watching that, man, unless they're wanting to get educated on the his court situation. But spoiler alert, he was found not guilty on all charges. So you could figure that out within a few minutes and stuff. But the Michael Jackson movie, on the other hand, I mean, yeah, same with that too, but there might be some things that they're covering for the first time. There might be some stuff that they never mentioned before in that movie, because even when I watched that movie, there were some things that I didn't really know too much about. But it was a feel good movie. It was a movie where more so where there were some scenes in there that were a little sad and stuff, but there was like the music scenes. Oh yeah, it's like I when watching that, more so the videos that were coming out about that movie, everybody off up in the theaters dancing, I'm like, fam, it ain't that serious, okay? Stop it, all right? But when I went to go see the movie myself, I'm like, what do I remember from the Michael Jackson Experience game? Because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling myself wanting to stand up and get the dancing and stuff. I'm like, man, that was a pretty good movie, But and that's the thing. I just think that everybody needs to understand that your criticism is your criticism. You can't push off your criticism onto other people and expect them to accept it. No, that's the thing where it's like, I guess because I just remember when I was dealing with a lot of hate and drama, from my biggest hater and stuff. And that was his whole narrative that he wanted me to accept his criticism. And that's the thing where I'm like, and I remember a coworker telling me this at my old job, that when I put my content out there, my content is always going to get criticized. Now, I guess, if it's coming from the fans, obviously, yeah, the fans, they're going to say how much they love the content. That's the type of stuff that I want to see. I'm not trying to see why you don't like the content. You hate this, you hate that, you hate everything. And I'm like, okay, well, and it's funny because I remember saying that a while back where, talking to my hater, it's like, okay, every time when I upload, you have a problem with it. Wouldn't it make sense to stop watching my videos? Like, that's the thing. If I don't like something, I'm not going to continuously keep, so for an example, a video game. If I hate a video game, I'm not going to continue playing that game. And yes, there's been numerous times where I done played a video game and I'm like, no, this game done got me to the point where I'm upset and I feel the need to break something. Before it gets to that point, what I'm going to do, check to see if I could get my money back or trade the game into a GameStops or wherever, and then just let that game just not exist in my life no more. What's wrong with that? It is funny how people try to say that you can't do that. Why? Why do I have to? My thing is this, right? If I play a video game and let's say I played enough of it to know, even if it's just 5 minutes, because video games is different. That's the thing. Yes, there is going to be at times where 5 minutes isn't going to be enough. But then there are some times where a game is designed where 5 minutes or less is enough for me to know that I'm not going to like this game. If it's based off of the controls, the graphics, the story, whatever it is, it's or just even knowing it's because I have to say one thing that I don't like in video games is when they be having some giant creepy insects, like Fallout, for an example. Now, I'm not going to say that this is I guess, and that's another thing too. You need to word your criticism to a way where it's okay, it's not putting something down. Because let's say Fallout 3, for an example, I don't particularly care for that game, but I'm not going to say that that's the worst game that I've ever played. There have been games that I played where I'm like, I would rather play Fallout 3, go through all of them insects, because from what I did play, yeah, I can say that Fallout 3 was definitely a decent game. But when they started showing all them different insects and creepy creatures and all that that stuff. I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. You know, I'm like, I'm okay. I don't need to play this right now. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm not gonna say that it's a bad game. I'm not gonna tell people, you know, if somebody asks me, hey, is that a bad game? I'm like, it's creepy. You know, I'll tell you that much. But it's like, to try to, you have an opinion on something, but you want to reword your own opinion. I don't get that, you know, like that's the thing where it's all like, do you even believe in your own criticism? Because if so, then I'm like, fam, I'm like, you're believing in a lie. So that's why I'm like, again, I'm not going to say that something's bad without, you know, I guess I will say that I'm not interested, but I'm not going to say that it's bad, you know? So yeah, like for an example, Fallout 3, I'm like, I'm not interested in that game, but if you want to get into it, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to do in that game. Like, I guess I'll still give something its credit, even though it's, if it's, so yeah, I guess like with Anthony Fantano, I don't really know what he said about Halsey's album. I never even, watched the video. So I'm like, yeah, I'm like, even furthermore proving my point about not knowing him and stuff. But at the same time, if I'm a Halsey fan, I'm not going to go based off of another person's opinion on what they have to say about her album. I'm going to listen to it because I'm a Halsey fan, not because I'm an Anthony Fantano fan and stuff. So some people don't know that, but yeah, like I was saying, you know, it's like the thing is this, I guess just, you know, talking back on that, it's like, you know, be prepared. I guess like if you do things like that, you go around criticizing people, be prepared to receive criticism back. Now, if you can't accept that criticism, why should I accept your criticism? Wouldn't that just, to me, that just defeats the purpose of criticizing if nobody accepting no criticism. But that's a conversation I feel like some people ain't really ready for and stuff. Even after saying everything I did say, I feel like it's just gonna go in one ear and out the other, and people still gonna go around and be wanting to criticize stuff without really accepting any criticism. So, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.